You know they got that same name, but different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. They got that same name, different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. Keisha and Keisha, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment.
Keisha
You don't
and
got
Keisha,
it, you
man.
can get some if you heard them.
Keisha and Keisha, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment.
Keisha
You
and
don't got
Keisha,
it, you
man.
can get some if you heard them. We gon' laugh, have a good time. Just sit back and elevate your mind.
Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 23.
Is it 23?
Yeah,
I thought it was 20.
I wrote it on something. It's
Oh,
episode
wow.
23.
23. Okay,
Yeah,
episode
it was
23.
22 last time. I wish you to print.
Are
It's on
you
the
woke?
side.
Good. Okay. So Serena Williams.
Our girl.
Serena. Okay, so I watched the video. What happened? I watched her news conference. And then I also saw a video with the young girl who did win.
Naomi Osaka.
Mm-hmm. And I guess my only issue would be if there really is going to be something that happens as a result of this when it comes down to equal rights for the men and the women. That's my biggest thing.
Well, and what we've been talking about here on our podcast is that Serena gets unfairly treated all the way through tennis.
Okay.
Even with the dress code that we mentioned last week.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
she did not fit the mold of what they
traditional tennis player.
right.
'Cause
And
one
she
of the-
changed that.
Tennis was usually a very thin, lanky white woman's sport.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not thin, she's not lanky,
Mhm.
and she's not white. But the other part is they drug test her more than any other athlete. You know,
Right.
we brought that up
Mhm.
here. They're talking about what she's wearing because she doesn't wear traditional stuff.
Correct.
So they're going against that. They're saying that she's aggressive, which she's a winner. Most
Right.
winners are, and what she said that day was, I would rather lose.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather lose than to cheat.
Right.
Number one. And so I went back and watched some of the commentators, and what they were saying was her coach was throwing signs, but she didn't even see the signs. They were saying her back was turned to him, and she didn't even see it. So it was like, so when she turned around, and the umpire was like, y'all cheating, and she's like,
Right.
What
Right. It pissed off.
yeah,
right.
it pissed off. And at this point, I'm kind of saying your coach. Honestly, that's what they're saying because they went back and reviewed it and it stood that
Right.
the umpire was right about the signing. But what he's wrong at is that Serena never saw it. So it take two to cheat. You can't cheat by yourself in tennis if he's throwing up signs.
And her biggest thing is that, you know, this is my profession, you know, and my daughter's watching this, and I've won how many matches, and I had never cheated. So why am I going to pick this one?
Well, and then her other big thing is that you're challenging my integrity,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been such a class act.
Right.
Unlike what we got in the White House when she went over there and asked them not to boo Naomi.
Right.
You know, and she said, I don't feel happy with the call either, but I'm not going to knock this girl's win.
Correct.
And that's a class act. I could have never seen that come from the White House. You know what I'm saying? For her to, and she whispered in her ear, and I meant to look up what she whispered in her ear. Did you read it?
She's not, that was her first interview. I think it was Good Morning America. And she, personality-wise, she's not as outgoing, and you know, because they were really dragging this interview out of her. Like but you could tell she's young, and she really, you know,
She's 20 years old.
Yeah,
and she was playing her idol.
Yeah.
That's big. I mean, think about me and you. If we meet our idol, who our idol, girl? Mary J. Blige.
Girl.
Anyway, but one of the things with and I want to say about Naomi Osaka, what I found online is that she went to school with one of my cousins.
Oh,
daughter.
wow. Oh.
Yeah, so he put pictures up. They went to kindergarten. They started kindergarten together
Oh,
in New York.
cute.
So she's American, but she's Haitian and Japanese. All right, that's a combination.
That is a combination.
It's testament to what's changing in the world.
Right.
Nationalities are changing, and the way you typically view the sport of tennis is
Right.
changing. There were two African people, African descendants, fighting for a U.S. Open, and that's unheard of.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
But you know what? I guess, and you mentioned this a little while ago, I'm kind of tired of all the first. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They winning, they doing their thing. First, we should not still be celebrating first anything as African Americans. But, you know, I get
and
it.
The reason we are is because the agenda is to not let us have first. and we're still fighting for that, and
Yeah.
we're still fighting. So
All right, so Colin Kaepernick, speaking of fighting for things, he is the face of the new Nike ad, and it came from 30 years ago. We were in high school. No, you weren't yet, were you? I was 17. Yeah, I was 17. So 30 years ago, they did the Just Do It ad. So they were trying to resurge that.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, was it really towards Kaepernick and what his fight was with the NFL, or was it more towards this generation of kids, untapped market of children that, you think Nike, they get the Jordans, they get this. But remember when we were growing up, it was all about, just do it. Everything was just do it, every shirt. So
I was wearing K-Swiss. I'm sorry.
Okay. I did. I had K-Swiss too. I did.
I had no
but
Nikes.
You didn't have any Nikes?
No, I've never had. I mentioned this last week.
Okay.
My first pair of Nikes are what I got today.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
didn't even know it. I mean, but it's because I was into other stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I was an athlete, and I was definitely into.
And I played basketball.
You played basketball in K-Swiss?
No.
Oh.
It was middle school, but I don't think we wore Nikes. I think it was Reeboks. It was a white school.
Okay. I'm like,
It
y'all
was a
played
what?
sports in Reeboks?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Reeboks.
Okay.
Or some damn kangaroos. Some LA gear.
LA Gears? Okay. All right.
This is early. This is back in the
Yeah.
I don't think we played in Nikes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think it was Adidas.
Okay.
I think that's what it was, Adidas.
But I think that more importantly, this is the point I was going to make. Everyone was worried about the method of which he was protesting instead of the message. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about those who were criticizing it.
About taking a knee.
Correct.
About
So-
taking a knee at the flag, which
Right.
is the most peaceful thing you could do.
Yeah.
Like,
But outside of that, just, it was the method. And I think Nike did a very good job of addressing the message of it, because they showed him it was the American flag on one of the walls, like holographed up there, and he was standing and looking at it. He wasn't kneeling. But then at the end, they took that same holograph and changed it into all the faces of these kids who had overcome things. And it was just about doing that. Like, at any cost. If whatever it costs, do what you have to do.
and some people, you have to.
Yeah.
If it's gonna cost something, they ain't gonna do it.
Well, I will tell you, I did a little thing with my students in class. They had to watch the video and they had to write their opinion on it. And so many of them were concerned about the fact that so many people were burning their Nikes and doing all this kind of stuff. And they were like, well, why? Like, they were really perplexed by that. They were like, nothing's wrong with this ad. And it was definitely geared towards Kaepernick. And once we kind of started discussing that, they were like, because this is what we found, though.
We got to have the discussion.
Yes.
I mean, that's the main thing
Yeah.
that Nike's got us doing.
Right.
And where with Cap has got us doing.
Yeah, and I think what happens a lot of times is that kids at that age and a little bit younger, they just adopt whatever their parent is saying, and they don't get to really have those opinions for themselves. And it was them having their own opinion that day, and it was really nice to kind of see their take on it. So.
It's to having that conversation.
Right.
So you have the message and you have the the method.
Yeah.
And for people to just take the method and not get the message
Mm-hmm.
only means that you're doing that you're not understanding,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I see with most of the discussion is they're not understanding.
Correct.
The method.
Yeah. All right. So the Archbishop of Washington plans to meet with the Pope in Rome to discuss the possibility of resigning as he confronts accusations that he mismanaged and concealed alleged sex abuse within the church. So he says he did not do anything wrong.
He didn't.
Okay.
He didn't do nothing wrong.
Okay. And so the Pope is now saying he's going to gather up the world's presidents of Catholic bishops in a conference in February so they can discuss preventing clergy sex abuse.
Well, and this is the thing for the Catholic Church. He didn't do anything wrong as far as the Catholic Church is concerned, because one of the messages is about forgiveness. And you got to forgive people. Mm-hmm. But what they didn't understand, and when I watched the little movie, they didn't understand is that this is illegal.
Right.
You are obligated.
Correct.
To turn these people over to the law enforcement.
Now, and
that's what they did not do.
Okay, well,
they went through the archdiocese and
correct. Well, now, hold on, because that's their system, and America honors that system. So when the thing is that they were able to the reason why they were able to handle and conceal that the way they did, they literally live by their own system of government.
They just make it amongst themselves,
right,
to let the church handle it, and that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the Constitution
like
said
the whole
no,
separation of church and state.
Thank you, but bam, that's why we have the separation of church and state. That's why it was put into the Constitution, so that church stuff does not interfere with state stuff,
And vice versa.
state stuff doesn't interfere with church stuff. But let me say this: the law is the law. Whatever your religion is, we all are abide by the same law with the United States Constitution.
I'm just saying.
I'm just telling you, girl.
That's what they had
I should have
behind.
went to law school.
Girl, okay.
I
So
should've
update
went
on
to
the
law
Braxton
school.
feud, and
God,
Iyanla visit. Now they're gonna
something
be
like-
this Thursday. I'll get to see that episode. But Tamar revealed on Wendy Williams, she went on her show and revealed that she was molested by members of both sides of her family.
That is not unusual. Tyler
Absolutely not.
Perry was molested. Oprah was molested, and to speak this out loud, we've got to start having the conversations in black families.
Well,
just based on, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to eliminate the
Right,
white people, but
right.
for us that hear this, it's and I've known this to happen in families where it's a known secret
right,
of child molesters.
right, right.
And instead of families shutting it down, they do exactly what the Catholic priests do.
Right.
They do exactly what the Catholic priests do, which is they just move people around.
Right.
Nobody sends nobody to
Right.
law enforcement.
Correct.
And it's like, well, I don't want my if for instance your brother.
Okay.
And you'll be like, I don't want my brother to go to jail because he molested your daughter, my niece or nephew. And it's like, no, he's a molester.
He's a pedophile.
Look at Nicki Minaj's brother.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it's those things that we've got to address. Wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
And it's the family, non-family, and we said this before with the Me Too movement. It's these people take this for years and years. They take it on with them, and it's something that affects them for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
If you've been molested, it's something that affects you for the rest of your life, and that's some of what Tamar is saying, because she been affected by something, girl. I
Yeah.
looked at her; she done been through something.
Yeah.
She looked like she done been through something.
Okay, what about 30-year-old Amber? What is her name?
Geyer. Girl, we talked about her last
She was
week.
the officer who shot
She was
and
a white
killed
woman. Let's go
Botham
and call her a
Jean.
white woman.
He was, now this guy was involved in leadership club, his Christian church, worked for the Prince Waterhouse Coopers as a risk assurance associate.
He's in my field. He's got a degree in accounting.
Oh,
And Price Waterhouse Coopers is one of like the major accounting firms that you would want to work for.
Okay.
Like someone I would want to, to
Right.
work with them is like a big achievement.
okay.
For an accountant. And so this guy, and what I read some of the comments on Yahoo, and one person was like, well, this guy is professional. He's not no riffraff, because according to them, all black people, he had to be
Right,
like
and it's almost like
it's
they
like-
gotta make us riffraff to make it okay.
Yeah,
and I
nothing
hate
is
that. It's
okay
like, but
about this.
what if I was riffraff when I was 15 or 16?
Well,
So
it
you gonna
doesn't
dig
even
all that? I
matter.
mean, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I
That
don't know.
It was ugly, but what they were saying was like, oh, this was a good black guy she killed. And it was
my
like,
God.
oh, she
One
was,
of the good ones,
But,
huh?
if he was a bad black guy, it would be better.
Girl,
No,
girl.
no,
Like,
no.
I can't. It's
This
just,
chick is wrong. So what we found out, we said that she went to the wrong apartment, thought it was hers.
Right.
So what we found out is he had a red mat outside his door. You got to see this red mat when you walk up, and she doesn't have a red mat. So that's a clear first sign that, hey, you're at the wrong apartment. 2, witnesses say she was knocking on the door.
Right.
So if you think it's your apartment, do you knock on your apartment door?
Nope.
If you got the key.
well, and like I was telling you, some people were saying, like, of course the truth will eventually come out, but some people were saying there was some complaints from his apartment that he was playing his music too loud. So maybe she got in a little tiff and decided to come down there to confront him.
Well, and then that might have happened because we do know in Jacksonville that a black man was killed because he pulled up to the gas station playing his music loud. White man pulled out his gun and shot him.
Sure did.
So that right there could be an issue. The other one is that some people said they were sleeping together.
well, I guess.
I mean, we done heard everything. They
Right,
sleeping
right.
together, and she said the door was ajar, and this lady Amber said the door was ajar, and we're finding out that that's kind of pretty hard to do. That door kind of closed itself. It's hard to be ajar.
no, it don't kind of close itself.
It does close itself. It's one of those heavy doors,
Right.
That you can't leave
Close,
ajar.
yeah.
And she went in, and the other one that really struck me was it was a dark room. How they was like, if it was so dark, how was you able to shoot him? Because she was saying it was so dark she couldn't tell it wasn't her apartment, but you was
This
able
woman.
to shoot this man in the chest.
Lies.
And then the other one was this. I'm like, I'm reading everything going. What is
Right.
People have went crazy on
Yeah.
the internet, but one of them was like, how she remember to go to the right police station and clock out of work? How she remember to go to her car? How she remember to get to her apartment building? And still couldn't remember to get to the right apartment. And then somebody was like, and you went blind. So you went blind when you opened the door, because of course you blind now, you can't see nothing. It's in the dark. But you saw enough to shoot him.
Yeah, I mean, it was so many holes in the story from jump, though.
We said that last week. Keisha and Keisha did say.
Yes.
City Keisha Country. Keisha said it's more to this story.
There's more to the story. So as it unfolds, we'll bring you guys back with that one. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what you don't know good. William and a guy named Williams, his last name is Williams, and another guy whose last name was Santos. They disappeared within months of each other almost 15 years ago after allegedly being picked up by the same former Collier County, Florida deputy. His name is Steve Calkins. Williams' mother, Stephen Calkins, okay.
Nice.
Williams' mother, Marcia, and her lawyer, Benjamin Crump, announced that they were suing Calkins for the wrongful death of Terrence Williams. That was her son. So Tyler Perry got behind it, and he put up $200,000 for any clues that would help to solving this case. And the thing was is that he wanted to make it clear it wasn't a black and white thing, even though the cop was white and this guy was a black guy, and that the police department really has worked with them in trying to get some of these things resolved. But this one deputy, who isn't a deputy anymore, has been making, pretty lewd comments and just kind of wilding out, kind of racist with his comments and stuff.
He racist.
Yeah, and
I know you want to throw kinda. I'm just gonna drop the kinda.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we got to call racists for what they
right.
are.
I mean, and so whatever he did to these two gentlemen, of course, as a police officer, he didn't think he didn't get away with it.
And he thinks that it's justifiable.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think
and
is
this
what
woman's
we're saying
son,
is that, and that's the thing that kind of turns my stomach, and I know it turns your stomach, City Keisha, is that when we hear these stories about unarmed black men getting killed, and the comments that come across the internet is just like, it's disposable life.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. If that was my son or your son, and you're doing sidewalk justice.
Absolutely.
If you thought my son did something wrong, okay, let him go before a jury of his
and
peers.
let them convict him, because that is why we have a system
yes.
that will do that. And you are not the judge and jury to be exactly. Period.
Yeah. So
and I'm trying to say, I get every black man that has been killed at the mercy of the police may not have been innocent, but they were still human beings that deserve the same equal justice.
Process.
Yes, there you go.
They deserve due process, even if. And how do you know they're not innocent? That's the other part. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty
instead of the other way around. Yeah,
that's why OJ didn't do it.
Well, let's talk, girl. You better get us out of here with that OJ.
Was not proven
Keisha,
guilty.
Keisha.
He was not.
Okay, Keisha, hold on.
Innocent.
Oh my God. Okay.
OJ is innocent.
All
Y'all
right. So let's be clear. That just because he wasn't proven guilty does not mean that he did not do it.
Who did it? We need to find it, because it wasn't OJ.
Let's just be very clear.
And double jeopardy ain't gonna happen.
Listen, and I get it, but I need for you to understand that yes, OJ got
innocent.
Don't
say
man.
Got away.
No,
OJ
man.
is innocent.
Come on,
the court system proven. You can't do it both ways.
I'm not trying to do it.
You can't say somebody's guilty on the sidewalk.
I didn't say he was guilty.
Okay, I'm saying if you go through the system and the system finds you innocent, he's got to be innocent. Yes. I'm sorry, Keisha. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Okay,
Bill Cosby was found guilty.
Wait,
that's why I'm riding Bill.
All right, but you got to think about it, though. There are some people that were found guilty of crimes that they didn't even commit.
That's true.
And there are some people that went free on stuff that they did do.
Wait,
hold it. Now, how you going to wait, though?
Went free. That says you can't do double jeopardy.
I get that. I'm not talking about coming. No. How you just go, it's true if there are people who.
I'm saying this, in the eyes of the law, you're innocent. If you were found innocent in a court of your peers.
I get it, but I just said to you.
Y'all leave OJ alone. Y'all some
old. Come on.
I don't know what kind of tomcatting y'all be doing.
God, okay.
OJ ain't did
Girl, shut up. Okay. All right. So on another note with police, there is a cop in California who was asked by a homeless woman who was addicted to drugs to adopt her baby. Him and his wife did just that, and they named her Harlow. I'm sorry.
Melzy. Melzy?
Okay.
Melzy? Like a male?
So I don't know. Harlow's new mom. That was the name the birth mom gave her. Ashley
drugs,
told Good Morning America that the child's biological mom had envisioned this beautiful life for her daughter, and because of her situation, she couldn't give it to her.
Yeah.
But because of her interaction with her husband through the police department, she knew and trusted him that he could. And I think that that's got to be the most unselfish thing you could do.
Yeah, and it really is. Cause
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I would want my child to have a better life.
Because you're already feeling that guilt of not being able to provide for them, and you trying or whatever. And when you have to take that step to them not even loving you in the end, because they may not understand why you did it or whatever, but you give it up and know that they had a better life, and you can see that, like, you know.
And I think that any child can understand that if your parent is on drugs and can't provide for you, would you want to live a life where you don't have things like food and shelter because they're strung out, or you want to live a life with someone who's willing to love you?
And I will tell you this now, from being a social worker, they want to stay with their mama.
They like their mom, but this the thing.
Not like them. I'm telling you, like.
Well, let me say, kids don't know what's best for them. That's why the adults have to make the right decision.
Right, but your comment was that
child,
kids
you don't know any better.
Right.
You were saying when they grow up, when you get to be an adult, you realize that the right decision was made.
Okay.
As a child, you want to be with your mom. Right. But you don't know that, hey,
a child, you be 50 still be want to be with your mama.
Some people, and not everybody, but some.
Hey,
but and
you want to be with your mama.
Girl, my mama already child. Anyway. So in the same sense of the same story, I'm looking at Facebook, and this white couple about this 10-year-old black girl. It was her birthday, and they gave her a birthday present, and she goes in and she's digging to the bottom of this box, and at the bottom of the box is an adoption certificate that they adopted her. And y'all,
I'm giving them the claps because that was just the sweetest thing ever. Go ahead.
So when she see it, her first reaction was a ugly cry. The little girl went straight into an ugly cry.
Right.
And the mom and dad started hugging her, and they're rubbing her, and they're kissing her on her head. And I mean, the affection that they were showing her and she's still crying hard. Then they start crying. But then Facebook, if you read the comments, people were like, why did they put this on the internet? This is not for people to see. Oh my God! Why do people put any damn thing on the internet? That's the question. I don't want to see your meal. Can I watch these people have a moment? I don't want to see you on the toilet or in the bathroom.
Well, okay, so I
will with your dirty bathroom.
Right, but I will say this though, like, because they're thinking that with the girl, well, not even exploiting her, like that's her personal thing, and so. How sometimes people like to keep that private. I mean, clearly, if the parents are white, you see that she's been adopted. But there are some instances where it's not like that. Because I've gotten kids adopted who look so, almost identical, like they adopted.
But she's an older girl. She's 10 years old.
I know, but
and then some of the other comments in defense of them putting it out there is a couple of people said they went through the foster system and they never got adopted.
Right.
And that was one thing. And then and then another one was that. For foster kids, they don't have videos or pictures or anything showing their life because they move around so much.
Absolutely.
And it was like, it's something that they can record and keep out there, that this is a moment that happened to her.
I will tell you this, and that's so true, because when I would have to remove kids from homes or when I went in as their case manager, a lot of times it takes a while for a kid to warm up to a foster family, for one, and then they literally come in a bag or in a box, and that's it. And I guess that's why I've always been that type of person. When I go to give someone something, I either put in a nice something for them or buy a piece of luggage or something that they can, because I used to see that so much where they would take them out of there so quick and everything's in a garbage bag, or and that would just do something to my heart, like, ugh. And so I can see you not having those pictures and not having those
that's
things.
what I was gonna say. That's why I like to take pictures. Like, everybody was like, why you take pictures? For one, my memory's kind of bad. I can remember what I did. Can I take this picture right quick? And then going back and remembering stuff from your childhood, and we took pictures, but in my head I'm thinking I wish we had taken more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and for guys, and for most guys, they're not into pictures, and it's like, but your kids won't have that.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Okay, so Timmy, what do you think about this?
Thrupples.
Girls, thrupples. Thrupples, and we said it right.
Not couples,
but
thrupples. That means how many?
3.
One? Do it mean?
No.
Do it mean 2?
No.
It means 3.
Uno, dos,
tres.
Un, deux, trois. We can say it in French and Spanish.
Un, deux, trois.
Listen. So, what is a throuple? Let's be very clear about that, okay?
It's 3 people.
3 people in a committed relationship, not a threesome, but a relationship.
Yes.
Over the past few years, I always get this. Polyamory has become a more widely known term in practice. There have been much talk about open marriage and open relationships in recent years, with some even paradoxical dubbing non-monogamy. So it's like, this is the new monogamy. So now these thruples are living, all of them sleep in the same bed together. All of them live in the house. I mean, like, just like if you would a couple.
Well, and then so I
am too selfish.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I saw a picture on Facebook and it was going viral. So this throuple is, this lady posted me and my husband and my boyfriend and the new baby. So they're a throuple. I was like, it just happened, and they had on their matching pajamas for Christmas. Her and the husband and the boyfriend. And I hate to say it, and I think the boyfriend might be bi, which means that the husband
Stop
bi.
it! What are we doing?
They're having a relationship. Now I'm gonna tell you.
Now
me,
you got a boo. Can you have 2 boos?
For me, it's not for me. Because I'm the prize.
Yeah.
I can't be fighting with the other dude and the other woman. But I'm going to say this, and and it might be controversial.
It is very controversial. And it is.
I'm finna say this. Hey, City Keisha and Country Keisha bought it to you.
Okay, listen. Okay, say your piece, and I'm going to say mine.
Okay, I'm about to say
perspective, I'm like, I know in the Bible they talk so much about, all the men with their concubines and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I ain't talking about that.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm going to say this. I'm finna get, it's not really controversial, but y'all can take it as controversial. It ain't for me controversial. Some of you been out here thruppling all along and didn't know y'all were thrupples.
You know what?
Some of you, and you know the other woman, you know where she lives, and you can go over there.
Ooh.
Y'all can even talk about it, and y'all good with it.
Ooh.
Some of you been thruppling. Y'all just didn't know y'all was thruppling. You know what I mean?
I cannot.
I'm sorry, City Keisha and Country Keisha.
I cannot right now.
Some
I have
of
to deal
you,
with.
thruppling.
Oh,
That's why I
God.
said stop fighting with each other. Hell, if
Just
y'all
stop.
in these relationships where y'all going between the same man over and over again, just be a throuple.
Hey,
Hell,
what's that
just
song
shake
that was
hands.
out after summer? You have them on Monday, Tuesday,
Yo,
Wednesday?
girl, that's my jam.
What is that song?
That weekend. That's the weekend.
Yeah, girl.
She said I got them on the weekend. You
Yeah.
can have them the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Make up your
No,
rules.
nah. I
No,
guess
no,
that's
I'm saying-
thruppling, or would that be?
That'd
Would
be-
that be like an open marriage?
Where they're not marriage, but it's polyamorous. It
I
means
know, but I'm saying
it's not monogamous.
I'm
is
talking
what
about the
saying.
song. Is the song more of like an open marriage, or is it thruppling?
And I would say it's neither, because if they're not married, because in the song she doesn't say they married, she just say I have them on the weekend. But I'm saying it's more like not monogamous. That means we're seeing each other exclusively. We
Yeah.
seeing other people. But some of y'all wants to have a monogamous relationship, but it ain't working. And especially
God.
when you had a baby with him this year, and I had a baby
Girl,
with him
stop
last
talking
year.
to me. Ain't
and
nobody
we
even
both had
stop
babies
now.
in the same
I need you
year.
to stop, because I cannot. I cannot. I refuse.
And then y'all be on Facebook talking about each other. Listen, y'all are together in a relationship with Mister.
I cannot.
Don't y'all fight. Y'all a throuple. Go shake that woman's hand,
Oh,
and
God.
y'all figure out how you gonna have them. If she gonna have them on the weekend, and you gonna have them during the week. Figure out y'all relationship, and then we don't have to be laughing on Facebook with y'all.
But I think, okay, so
Seriously.
all right. So, do you think that?
Because traditionally it ain't working. You trying to go by the Bible, but it didn't work for you. Y'all been doing this for years, and he ain't married neither one of you.
Now, let me tell you something now, because if you go back, to some of the granddaddies, and when they die, these children pop out of stuff. People been thruppling for a long time.
That's what that
But-
happened with Terrell Owens. Remember, he
Yeah.
didn't even know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, so
but
there we go.
All right, but I am gonna say this now. A lot of times, I agree with you in saying that the wife may know about this other chick.
And the
You
chick
will
know
find
about it.
you will find this more than it would be the opposite, where it'll be the wife with a guy and the guy know about the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because men are not that share. They don't like share a lot. Even though they like to go around, they don't want to share their woman.
Yeah,
they can cheat on their woman, but they don't want to share their woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but that's men are different. Where women will let you do a lot of things, the men will be like, you're not doing that to me.
well, okay, we go. All right,
You don't want to throuple?
girl. No, I don't want to
You
throw.
and Doe just,
Girl.
boo, I'm just playing.
What's Boo name? Since you up in here tossing out. Okay. right,
honestly,
so-
it's some people that can do that, but for me, I'm the prize. I'm a little jealous. I like to be the
Yeah,
only one.
Yeah.
If I'm not the only one, then I'm good. I'll be by myself.
But you know, and that's the thing. I think. Do you think that it has something to do with people's self-esteem?
It's got a lot to do with
Or
self-esteem.
because some people are saying no, they're just saying they just have a healthy appetite.
No, I'm saying for the ones. I'm sorry, I got it confused. I'm saying for the ones who settle, who ain't in a throuple really, but they keep allowing stuff to happen to them, that their self-esteem are low. The people in the throuples, they pretty much know what they want, and they got 2 other people to give them what they want, and they all on the same page. And I don't have a dog in this fight. It ain't nothing for me. For the people who doing throuples, and hey, if you ain't, as long as I ain't got to pay for your throuple,
Right.
that's your business.
You said as long as you thruppling over there, huh?
And y'all, and look, but if you on the system, we're gonna have to unthruple y'all. Okay,
Unthruple.
somebody gotta go to work.
Yeah, you was like, hey, who getting up out of here today? Now we've been around here thruppling for all day.
Okay.
All right, so the National Video Game Day, National Video Game Day was on September 12th, and I don't know what I'm doing with my hair right now. It's just
And I'm
it's hot.
sweating. I done got hot. Go ahead.
So I kept wondering, like, how do you get a national holiday? Okay.
Yeah.
How to get back right? Okay, so in the United States, recognize only 10 national holidays, right?
Can
And
you
those,
name 'em?
girl, I can name most of them.
Let's go.
Okay, so you got New Year's,
Yes.
you got Christmas, you got Thanksgiving, you have Veterans Day, you have 4th of July, you have Labor Day, you have
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, you have Martin Luther King, you have President's Day. I'm up to 9.
You did Thanksgiving.
I'm missing one. I don't know which one I'm missing. But, okay, so they have these 10 holidays.
Which one you missing
I don't know, but I did
Columbus
pretty
Day.
good, didn't I?
I think Columbus
Columbus
Day.
will be President's Day.
No, Columbus
Yeah.
Day is in October. President's Day is in
Oh,
February.
okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so then they says, okay, this is how it's done. Okay. Well, Mother's Day. Mother's Day? No,
It's not
it's
Mother's Day,
not national. Okay,
holiday.
it's just observed.
And it's on Sunday.
Okay, all right. So what they did, they says you basically, your government can officially give you a day. And it started off when they give you a day, it's only for that day that year. Like it's not renewable.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of corporate companies and stuff to promote like Donut Day and stuff like that to promote their businesses, they would keep it running every year
Yeah.
on there. And so then it's
That's
this
nice.
couple that started this calendar. And on the calendar, you can come and do like a protest on what you think it should be a day. Like, you know,
I think National
Podcast Day, yeah.
No, Keisha's Day.
National Keisha Day.
Because I think they had like
All right,
a
let's
twins
go.
day, and
National
grandparents-
Keisha's Day.
National Keisha's Day.
Hey, you
What?
know what? I remember we talked about it before. We were going to try to figure out how many Keishas there are in the world.
I think we need to.
We need to.
And different varieties.
Let's start a
of
campaign.
Keishas.
Like how? I mean, whatever version. But if the root of your name is Keisha,
Keisha,
we
yeah.
want to hear from you.
To Keisha, love Keisha.
Yes, to the
Rug
Keishas.
Keisha.
All right,
I know
so-
Calvisha.
All right, I'm gonna put this up on our Instagram, and if you know a Keisha, then share this video with her or whatever.
Hit us up,
Hit us up
Keisha.
because we need to know. I'm gonna keep a tally.
Like
so,
and comment.
right. So if you start liking and commenting, we're gonna keep a tally and see how many Keishas we can
We
come up
already
with.
know 3 right now. Well, 4, 5. I know.
Well, I put it like this: we know 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
City.
All
Country.
right.
We got it.
So we have Time Magazine. The new cover. They have a cover with 3 different teachers on it. So one has a black teacher on it, and it says the word says, "I have 20 years of experience, and I can't afford to fix my car, see a doctor for headaches, or save my child's future."
Damn. Damn.
Then there's another one that says, "I'm a teacher, and I'm a teacher in America." And it says, "I have a master's degree with 16 years of experience, work 2 extra jobs, and donate plasma to pay my bills."
Lord have mercy.
And then the third one says, "My child and I share the same bedroom. I spend $1,000 a year in supplies and have been laid off 3 times due to budget cuts." And I've just gotten to the point in my educational career that I don't, and then we get taken advantage of, in my opinion. Like when stuff needs to get done, because our hearts have always been for the kids to do whatever, people are sending out the plate, "Oh, we need people to do this. We need volunteer and do this." And so you spend all this time, and your money, because I don't care what anybody say, if you're a teacher and a good one, you have spent some money on some kids. I've bought prom dresses. I've paid for trips, all kind of stuff, when I really didn't have it,
Yeah, but I'm going to say this because I know we're talking about the teachers, but the bigger picture is the kids. If you're not paying the teachers well, how do you expect the kids to get a very good education?
Well.
And see what I'm going with
No,
this?
yeah.
This is the part that I don't I get so angry with our government about, because years ago back in Alabama, we had like the lowest property tax. My property tax
I know
on
y'all
my
teachers wasn't making nothing.
well, and the teachers don't make anything,
Yeah.
but the property tax on my house in Alabama that I had years ago was $200.
Oh, y'all teachers wasn't making nothing.
And so they asked to
Increase it.
increase the property
And people was
taxes
about to flip out, wasn't they?
to earmark it for education.
Yeah.
Which I was like, yes, we could pay an extra whatever.
And a lot of
'cause we
times
pay
it's
the
only
less.
a penny tax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
It ain't
pay
even like
so
a whole
low.
bunch. Yeah.
Do you know them folks cut up and
I know
act
they
a fool,
did.
talking about they don't
And then
want
be
the
mad.
government, they don't want to pay no more taxes.
Right.
Even though it benefits
Exactly.
your
And
child.
then get
that
angry.
money is not going to legislators. That money is not going to other interests like abortions or something.
Hello.
It was going to education.
And-
What?
But they get
And they
angry when their
Christians.
kid doesn't graduate, when their kid can't read, when their kid don't have
Oh,
all
they
these
don't get
things, and they rev up there and jump on,
Yeah. No, I'm saying they get stupid. They're
Right.
stupid. It's like, and I grew up where, and you did too. I'm gonna say that our parents and our grandparents didn't have the access to education the way
Correct.
we did. So they always wanted us to do better.
Yes.
What's up with this not wanting our kids to do better? It's like they're tying the teacher's hands and then say, produce something wonderful.
Right.
It's like, how am I going to produce something wonderful? I don't get paid. I'm worried
No.
about if I can eat. Let alone if you can pass.
Girl, if you just want to say that again.
I'm worried about if I can eat.
Ooh,
Let
wee.
alone worried about, and I'm going to tell you, I saw some of the salaries, and most of the teachers that, and I'm going to
Yeah.
say this, went to school on student loans.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I already owe the government.
Hello.
You ain't paying me nothing.
Hello. And then here's my deal. Even if we can't find the money, Keisha,
We can find it. We
I
found
know. Okay,
How
just let
many
me-
did we find for them farmers?
I get it.
What
Come
number
on,
would I
girl.
told you?
Say it. Okay, well, let me just say this. I just feel like you are going to not pay us what we worth, and on top of that, give us the crappiest insurance ever. So even if they won't, because the insurance company got them so on lock, like in the state of Florida.
Lobbyists. They lobbyists.
Right. They won't allow all the teachers in the state of Florida to be on one insurance plan. So you have to go county by county. So if you're in a small county, or if you're in a county with a bunch of retired teachers, you pay a higher premium and you get sucked. Where instead of just saying, okay, all of the teachers, because that's how you get your insurance as a state government. That's how you get your stuff. So what is wrong with the teachers? I mean, so if you're not going to be able to pay us a lot of money, can we get some great insurance?
Can I tell you something that one of our
I got a
sorors
trigger
told
finger
me?
right now, and it's gonna cost me $1,000 to go have the surgery on it with my insurance,
And you got to take off work.
and I gotta take off work.
Okay, and you still ain't get paid now.
Girl.
And you still got to pay your bills. Okay, so hold on. So, and the other thing we saying, because I know you have worked a second job.
Oh,
I have worked
definitely.
a second job. Matter of fact, I think we done worked 3-4 jobs.
Yeah,
Just call
absolutely.
us Jamaican women.
I know,
'cause
right?
I know we. Hey, I mean, but
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
you
the
said.
thing, and that's why I get so upset when they talk about poor people being lazy.
Right.
And they're the most. They work so many hours
Mm-hmm.
and so tired. They're the ones who are not voting and not doing the things to help interest because they tired.
Yeah.
And I get they're tired, but you can't be that tired to not. You got to see change. You gonna have to find some energy
Well,
somewhere.
listen,
and make something.
And most
happen.
of the teachers are women,
Yeah,
which brings us to our next point. If we were a woman in East Africa,
girl. Oh, let me get to that story.
What?
Oh, Jesus.
tell us about it, Key.
Oh,
Tell us about it,
Jesus.
Key.
Tanzania's his name is John Magufuli, has told women in the East African nation of Tanzania to stop taking birth control pills because the country needs more people. And hold on, they got over 50 million people. He said they need more. According to local media reports, women can now give up contraceptive methods, Magufuli said. Those going for family planning are lazy. They're afraid they will not be able to feed their children. They do not want to work hard to feed a large family, and that is why they opt for birth controls and end up with 1 or 2 children only, he said at a public rally on Sunday.
How many children does he have?
2.
Girl, hush your mouth. Get out my face.
This is the most jackass of the day. I'm sorry. You, Mr. Magufuli, is a MAGA fool.
Okay.
You's a MAGA
The
fool.
fool of the day. Yes,
Fool
there
of
we
the
go.
day. 'Cause let
wait
me
a minute. So because see, I just knew you were about to tell me this man had
No,
like 8
he only
kids.
got
Girl,
2.
get up and get
He
out.
only
I ain't
got
messing
2.
with you.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh,
You
God.
tell a man with 2 kids gonna tell me to keep having kids and don't worry about how I feed them?
Uh-huh.
How the hell I'm gonna get kids and not worry about how to feed them?
That man crazy.
Is
That man, he the one slap crazy. He the one slap crazy. Like, he has 2 children. Like, come on, tell me true.
No, he's got kids.
Why?
No, he's got 2 kids,
Oh,
period.
God.
And what he's saying is lazy
What is?
to take contraceptive. And then
I wish we can get him on the phone.
Well, and then my other point is, what are you saying to the men? Because you're saying the women are lazy. Because I can tell you now, as a woman who got 3 kids by a man and child support is irregular,
Girl, come on
I
now.
ain't never been lazy.
Come on
I
now.
had worked multiple jobs.
Come on
jobs
now.
I didn't want to do
Come on.
to make sure my kids had food to eat. And no,
Oh,
I would
Lord.
not bring another child in this world if I don't know if I
I
can
cannot
feed it.
believe this man is
That's
really...
irresponsible.
But you know, you got to think also, there's a lot of countries in Africa, especially East Africa, where they deal with this whole male dominance, and they're going to tell women what, you know, what they could do with their body. I mean, just all of that. And it's almost like, but then when we bring up women's rights and being equal and everything, nobody want to ever hear that.
Well, and then my thing for him calling the women lazy, that's where I'm really pissed. The men are lazy.
Right.
What men are out here having babies and not taking care of them? You ain't said once that men, let's have more babies so you can go work harder
Well.
to take care of these mothers and they can
Yeah,
stay home
yeah,
and
yeah,
take
yeah.
care of
You
babies.
got a point.
No, you saying the women are going to work
Yeah. So you're going to go have these babies, and they want you to work harder.
to feed them, according to him.
God, look, can we move on? 'Cause
No,
this man is-
we can't move on.
Okay.
You got the food, mega
I'm
food.
just saying,
Mega
and he
food.
got 2 babies, though. Like, you would think this man had 12 children.
Father, what year is this?
2018.
What Negro catch up to 2018? What year are you in?
Right.
And
I
ain't
mean,
and
but
having more
okay.
children don't mean
And look on a bigger scale of that. It turns out to be where that's not our choice. You know how it used to
Yeah.
be really like that, like not our choice, but it's like
now
okay,
we have choices.
Yeah.
Thank
and he's trying
God.
to take away. I mean, like what?
We're not going to the dark ages. We're not turning
Yeah, we
back.
ain't turning-
Black
no turning
women,
back down.
we're not doing that.
Stand
And we're
up,
not
these
having-
African women.
And I'm gonna say to the young people, stop having everybody babies. You don't have to do it. See, this man, this foolishness, this man spewing is why people keep having everybody baby because somebody said they love them.
Well, we're gonna say this to the women in Tanzania.
Uh,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
To the women in Tanzania, y'all need a new president, and you need
Well.
to find a strong black woman to boot him
Ooh,
out.
Now that would be okay.
There
I'm
you
with
go.
that one. All right. So Apple on Wednesday released this new iPhone XS, girl. So they have an XS.
Tell me if I care.
You better listen. They have
No,
an.
said, tell me if I care. What
They
phone
have-
I'm on?
Can
Tell-
I finish?
What phone I'm on?
I don't even know which one you on.
6.
Oh Jesus. Okay. 7, 8, and then they did do a 9. So you about 3 generations behind.
They did it.
They did do a 9, but they did a 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the SX and then the SX Max. And then they did an XR. The XR is the cheaper version, which is, the more affordable version. But the improvements on the camera, so they have like this 12 bionic chip that it launches apps 30% faster. There's a longer battery life. The stereo quality is better. They also got an Apple Watch 4. I want that. I want the new one. And it's fall detection. So like if you fall down, it can detect that, and then it asks you, it looks like you've taken a fall. Do you need help? And so not only will it call emergency services, but it will call your emergency contact and tell them that you fallen.
Look how excited you are. I'm sitting here going, phones are making these
Listen
our
to that, though.
generation
You're
so
not listening.
stupid.
Can you
I am
listen?
listening.
How is that making us stupid, though?
I'm
That's
talking
a
about
good
the
one.
millennials are stupid, though. They
Okay.
rely everything on the phone.
Let
And
me
they be
finish
like,
though.
let me-
Hold on, because I agree with you that
Yeah.
you know that we
I
there's some
just-
of the stuff because I think our kids are being slaves to the rhythm with that. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that fall detection is kind of tight. Come on,
No,
now, you have to
I
admit
ain't
that.
say it wasn't.
Okay.
I'm just saying. What
And
I'm
then they
saying.
also have the walkie-talkie. So like if you someplace and you have an iPhone and I have an iPhone, I can walkie-talkie you.
we're too connected. Let's unconnect to
I
everybody.
like it.
you good.
And
That's
wait,
good.
hold on. And here's the best feature at all. You can listen to your favorite podcast on your watch. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
But you
So
can listen to your favorite podcast.
okay, I didn't don't take away from my
All
moment. See,
time.
don't do that.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So
But I'm just saying, if you ain't got the watch, we still want you to listen to your
I
favorite
get
podcast.
it. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
saying. All right. So Bessie DeVos, our favorite person to not like in education. who, got these billions of dollars and let me just.
Well, it goes back to what we just said about teachers lacking. You need someone in there to fight for teachers.
Yeah.
We ain't got
And
that.
she has no
We ain't
point of
got-
reference.
we
Like
ain't got that
it wouldn't
person.
even be bad. I'm not trying to change her lifestyle, how well she's done for herself, but she does need to have the right people in her ear, like really dealing with this. But anyway, so there's this thing
She
called
should never took this job.
yeah,
Let's be honest.
Yeah, the borrower defense rule.
Borrower defense rule.
Right.
Come
so
on,
the Obama
Keisha.
administration created the rule in the wake of a revelation that some for-profit colleges entice students with their promise of an education and diploma that will allow them to get jobs in their chosen fields. In reality, many of these certifications weren't recognized by prospective employers, leaving graduates saddled with the student loans they couldn't repay because they thinking, I'm going to go, show up to this interview. Yeah, put your credentials up there.
I got a degree in XYBC, and it's like, we don't
from
want,
this college. And they was like, that,
we don't
it ain't
know
even
what that
accredited.
is.
Right.
What is that?
So with that being said, there were a lot of people who were, just in bad shape because, with them student loans, you get defrauded on them, baby, it's over. So anyway, she keeps delaying or postponing the effective date of this regulation, which is allowing these companies
to continue to rape people.
Yeah.
To continue to rape them
so
financially.
They just found out that it was unconstitutionally illegal. So they brought up these charges, and so they're going to try to get these people, in a better situation.
I can't stand her.
Yeah.
Fool of the Day
Yeah,
award.
she's
Because
foolish fool.
let me say this.
Add two.
When I went back to get my grad degree, it was my master's. It was I lived in a small town.
Right.
It wasn't feasible for me to get back and forth to a
travel.
school. So and online really worked. But I had to ask the question. I went in. I ain't
Wonder
no
if
fool.
they accredited.
I ain't no fool.
Right.
I was like, hey.
You ain't getting no food.
No. So I was getting my MBA, which is a master's in business administration, but I wanted to sit for the CPA exam.
Okay.
And they was like, oh, you want to sit for the CPA exam? You got to take 6 more accounting courses. I
Okay.
almost quit right there. But I wanted to make sure it was accredited
Right.
and make sure that when I leave with my master's that I have the qualifications
Correct.
to sit for the CPA
Because
exam.
you got your bachelor's degree from
Alabama State University Hornets.
the university.
Yes, of Alabama State University.
Okay, the Alabama State University.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
because
want me to
DJ,
say-
no, because Clifford always put that "the" in front of him, so I'm just
the
making sure.
I
Okay,
was
go
like,
ahead.
okay. But and so that was one of the things that you got to be proactive. But even with that, you got people who trick people who don't know.
Right.
Because I know people now that don't know what a master's is.
Okay.
And be like, oh, I got one of them in 6 months, and I be looking like, no, you didn't get one of them. You got something that somebody said, and
but you know what? But
you be looking at me like, I got my PhD in 8 weeks.
Right.
No,
Oh God.
I be looking like this.
But
No,
the
that's not a
disheartening part,
PhD.
right? The disheartening part is that they were duping people like that.
Yeah, that's
and so
what I'm
you got all
saying.
these people who done signed their little life away on these loans, already pretty poor anyway, and couldn't afford certain stuff, and
And it went to the school.
right.
And that's the other thing. The money
for-profit.
went to the school.
Right.
It didn't go to them. They paying tuition.
Yeah.
Which means the circle continues of the foolishness, the robbing people. Y'all in cahoots together. You said, oh, yeah, get them money for student loans so they can pay us to get the fake degree to not be able to make no money with it.
Right.
And you still flipping burgers. You like, I thought I was going to be finished flipping burgers.
Right. I won't flip no more
With my
burgers.
certificate of my MBA that I
Oh,
got
wow.
in 3 weeks.
Well,
and you go to a job and they said, that's
Our
not-
president
no.
apparently did not believe the effects of Hurricane
Puerto Rico. What happened in Puerto Rico? Hurricane Maria.
Yeah, Hurricane Maria. And so what has happened is that there are millions of bottles of water that are sitting on a runway that are not getting out to the people who need it. Plus the fact that all these people were killed, and he is just not accepting it. He thinks it's fake news, and he thinks he did a good job in Puerto Rico.
Okay, Mr. Jackass. I'm gonna have to
No.
resurface Jackass.
No,
I can't.
he got
Everybody else fools.
Okay, we
this
got
right
we-
here.
no,
This
no,
right
no,
here
we
is a
can't-
jackass
no,
move.
no,
Keisha, this
no.
is a jackass move.
I know, but we can't.
Hold on.
We
I'm
can't
sorry.
now.
This
Come on, work
ass
with me.
is in the Bible.
I know, but work with
Okay,
me. Work with me.
I ain't say
Okay.
MF and
Okay, go.
B
All right,
and all the other
go.
words I wanna-
Go.
You, mister. The fact that one person lost their life and you thinking that you did something good
You got a point.
is wrong.
Yeah.
This is a tragic event. This is not something for you to boast yourself up with. This was a tragic event.
Right, absolutely.
And it's like, what are you doing? And then to say that, when I was there, only like 18 people died. Baby, when you don't have electricity for months, and you don't have medicine for months, you don't have access to clean water, you don't have none of the necessities you need,
Food
or
sometimes,
a
yeah.
roof over your head, the place is blown away. and people are dying from those effects
Right.
from Hurricane Maria. And you said, oh, the Democrats. This is not a partisan issue, you
Yeah,
idiot.
yeah.
And then to use those people's lives as a partisan issue. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Mm.
Them 3,000 people who died, and you sit here going, oh, but I did a great job. At what? What? At what?
I really don't know.
At what?
I really don't know.
I mean, we're confused. What did you do?
And-
3,000 people
okay,
died.
so
What
let
did
me
you
say
do?
this. Can I
You
say
did a
this?
great job of killing 3,000 people.
Okay, let me let me say this. I am gonna say
Jackass is his
I
name.
cannot. Okay, listen.
Go
no.
ahead.
Here's my deal. Like, I just feel like there is something really wrong with him. Like, he's very narcissistic. We realize that, and I mean, like when you. I've been trying. You don't even understand. I tried.
Keisha,
Okay,
the
go.
other Keisha in Atlanta.
Okay.
She goes, so I don't even have. She's like, I don't watch the news. She said, but the other day I've been watching like CNN for days. She said, and I listened to this man. She said, girl, I think flies flew in and out my mouth because I was just sitting there with my mouth. It's getting to the point where you so stunned
Yeah.
that you're like, she said, I sat there and he was like, and I did a great job. And we did very good. And FEMA did great. And what you just said about those water, that water being on that tarp, that's FEMA. The
Right.
federal government didn't tell the local people that water was sitting there. How are they supposed to know if you don't tell them? You are horrible at your job.
Horrible.
And you're supposed to be the federal emergency.
Ugh.
If you're the emergency people, how are you not prepared to get the water to the people who need it?
It's so sad.
You
and I'm just
horrible.
I'm so sad with this. But okay, like we've been saying in the past months, it has sparked more people to wake up and
Yes.
realize that if he was able to accomplish becoming the president of the United States and being able to do the things he is doing, then we have to openly admit that we've been walking around passive about our government, about the things that they've been doing, and just like take that instead of like really getting involved. And so, if nothing else,
And I said this
I
to
mean,
a gentleman. I said this to a gentleman when I was sitting for the presidential election. That he was saying I don't vote, and it was an older white guy. He said I've never voted. He said government sucks, they're corrupt, and I never voted. And I said you're the problem. And he goes, what? I said good people with good intentions are not getting involved and letting the crooked people run it.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. And that's what's happening. And who's suffering?
Right.
Because they making sure they got good health insurance. The first thing they do when they get in office is they get themselves a raise, by the way. The first thing, all of them, no matter what party they're part of, they vote yes to a raise.
Yeah.
And you go, for what? You don't even work 365 days out of the year. They make sure they have the best insurance. And
Ooh.
poor people actually, and I'm going to say some right-wing extremists actually be like, they deserve it. For what? For what? You deserve it. We deserve it. And now people are screaming Medicare for all. The best thing I've ever heard. Get rid of everybody got. That's what they're wanting now, Medicare for all. It used to be unheard of to say that because people get upset. I don't want the government in my business. No, we need some good health insurance. It doesn't make sense. And we need to get this man to the doctor, this man that's 45. If he got good insurance, he ain't using it. He need to find out something on his brain.
All right, we're gonna come back to that one because I think that talked about Diddy.
So Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, we can come
Okay,
on.
and I misspoke because you said that knot on her head didn't come from Nicki Minaj. You said her own security hit her in the head.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, you listen to the Breakfast Club, they were going bananas. Because
Okay.
let me tell you what they were saying, which is true. So I'm listening to the debate, so I can weigh in here. Cardi B saw Nicki. She called her out because Nicki been doing a little sneak dissing, and Cardi was like, "Oh,
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
not with that. I ain't
about
with
her,
that."
she talked about her daughter. too, I
Yeah.
think,
She
so.
was like, now you done went too far, and I can't even work with you. Now I'm
Right.
gonna whoop your ass.
Right.
And so what happened is Nicki's security detail protected Nicki. It was like Charlamagne was like, whoever worked for Nicki,
Yeah,
high
clap
five,
it
y'all
up.
protected her.
Right.
But Cardi's security detail is the one who knocked her upside the head. They was like, all of them need to get fired because they weren't as professional as they were saying.
Right, they
Y'all
couldn't
the ones-
respond. They couldn't react. Like
Y'all-
they weren't for real deal. They were
Yeah.
like some dudes.
So they was like, y'all the one knocked her upside the head for one.
Oh,
For
gosh.
two, they was like, whoever, and Nicki do a lot of trash talking, so I'm pretty sure she got a great security
Right.
detail. But if the ones that was there said they came out of nowhere. Her security detail was like, You're not getting to Nikki. But that's why Cardi threw
thought it
the
was
shoe,
Air Force.
because she was trying to hit Nikki, but her security knocked her upside the head. That's why she walked around with her head up. But they was like, sorry, boo. But and Charlamagne said this, and I'm gonna repeat it. All of them need to be fired.
All right, so look, girl, I know you haven't been keeping up on Insecure.
I am. I've been keeping up. I just missed the last episode.
Okay.
So I'm up till they going to Coachella.
Okay,
so
all right. All right, and so we're not gonna spoil it for you, but I will say this, that everybody was like, I mean, for one, it was a great episode. I was rolling, like it was so funny. Like, you have got to watch it. It was one of those
I'm
ones
gonna watch
where,
it.
Yes, where you're sitting there and it's like, as these things start to unfold, and I was telling you, it's almost like Girls Trip meet Hangover. And it was just, she did a good job with that. But then at the end, the little twist was we wasn't expecting it. You know, who else is at Coachella?
Lawrence, but
girl.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm expecting it because they've been all over. Black Twitter been losing their mind. Bring Lawrence back.
Yeah.
Bring him.
Yeah.
And she finally said, we just brought Lawrence back.
But you know what the thing was that she's bringing him back to kind of advance his story, but it don't necessarily mean their story gonna be together. Because I don't know if I like this new dude or not yet. The jury's still out on him.
I like him, and it's only because
wait till
he
you
was cute.
see what happened this week,
I like
girl.
that he was on her lift ride, and that's another
He
thing.
was on her what?
On
her lift ride. Okay.
Lift ride. And that's the other thing in Insecure. She exposes that, she's got a degree. She's having to do live. Can't afford to live nowhere. Had to live with dude. I mean, these are the things are real issues.
Right. She hadn't got sick. So imagine that or anything,
Or kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No thank. Yeah. All right, so Ariana Grande is in the news again, girl, but this time she's being attacked for the death of her ex-boyfriend, Mac Miller.
Are these people damn retarded?
Yeah,
I gotta say it. Why are you attacking her for him doing drugs?
Well,
she didn't do drugs.
Because when they broke up, apparently, they said that he kind of went on this binge and blah, blah, blah. And she says they were together for 3 years and their relationship went up and down always because of this. And he openly admits that he's had this drug problem and come from a middle-class family, all that kind of stuff. But he's been dealing with it.
It's not her fault. Put the blame where it belongs.
Right.
It's a drug addict's fault for a drug addict's addiction. Why are we doing this?
24
Putting this
years
on her.
old, girl.
And she's even younger. She's 24. And I mean, listen, stop it. He was 31 years old. This 24-year-old girl cannot tell this 31-year-old how to get rid of addiction.
Right.
He's got to want to. So Black Twitter and the rest of you, get off Ariana Grande. Get your life.
And then Bow Wow actually did a more of an encouraging part of it, and he opens up about his addiction to lean. And if you don't know what lean is, I mean, if you've watched Power, of course you do, but it's a prescription strength cough syrup with codeine in it. Wayne?
Syrup.
Oh, okay, the syrup.
syrup.
Okay, yeah. So it's prescription strength cough syrup with codeine in it and some type of soda. Okay, and so they create this lean, and he said he was addicted to it where he was literally drinking it every single day.
And that's the other part about the pharmaceutical companies. They know this stuff is highly addictive, they're prescribing it, and they want you addicted because they make money.
Absolutely.
They legal drug dealers. Go ahead.
And then that's what's crazy because then as you're getting off the drugs, they find other drugs to help you get off drugs, and then you get addicted to the drugs you get off of. It's just a cycle. I know, it's crazy.
You got to break the cycle. And one of the things is we got to get pharmaceutical companies out of making money off people's addictions. So we
just making money off people. And I get you should make money.
Let's stop
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Okay,
people.
There you go.
That's it.
Because you remember how they had taken, what was that, the thing for the kids with asthma, or no, maybe kids with ADHD and taking their medicine, and at one point it was like $20, and it went up to almost $300 a month?
Yeah, you remember the
and it only cost them like $2 to make it?
Yeah, and did you see the one where the dude went up to $5,000? Remember, they arrested him and he's locked up. But the young dude with the pharmaceutical, it went, like, and I'm going to say this, I take insulin. Oh,
I do remember that.
Yeah, and I take insulin, and if I didn't have insurance, my insulin is $1,500.
Wow.
For the month.
So what do you pay with insurance? Maybe
140.
Really?
And that's still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
but then again, if you were in Puerto Rico and you couldn't afford that and something happened to you,
I would have been dead.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what's Black Alaka? You were talking about Jesse Lee Peterson,
a black conservative. And let me put it simply: he's not afraid to speak his mind. He's not afraid to speak his mind. I ain't gonna be afraid to speak mine.
All right. No, go ahead.
All right, let's roll. During the 1950s, under Jim Crow laws, he grew up in Alabama plantation where his great-grandparents worked as slaves. But today, Peterson is regularly featured on major news networks claiming that racism doesn't exist.
Can you go back a second? And you said he grew up in the 50s in Alabama on a plantation.
Yeah.
Where his great grandparents worked as slaves.
Yeah.
And he think that racism doesn't exist.
No, he ain't on the plantation no more. He off the plantation, but he think he cured. Racism got cured. You know, he think after Jim Crow, after Martin was killed, that racism was cured.
I mean, I can't.
And looking at the climate in today's
What we
news,
doing? What
how
are
in the world can you say racism is cured?
Mm.
Okay, so, and he says that the Democratic Party lies to minorities to intimidate them and control them, and July should be officially declared as White History Month.
Is he a black man?
Yes, very black. His folks were slaves.
Okay.
Okay, so
You making my hair hurt with this
well,
right now.
so to me, every month is White History Month. To you, how do you feel?
My
We
hair
teach
hurt.
White History when?
My hair
Is
hurt.
there a month for just White
The
History?
whole history
Yeah.
book. Okay.
There you go.
So.
And what I told you, and I'm a history buff, and I love history, but that little section where they give us Martin Luther King and Malcolm X in the same sentence at the history books, history books, that's regular, which is required for us to graduate from
Right.
high school.
Yeah.
They give you Martin
for
Luther
you to
King
learn,
and Malcolm X.
for you to learn bad truths.
Yeah. So for him to say that, I don't understand. He said most of his family and friends have turned away from him, but he says that's a small price to pay for standing by his beliefs.
Man, get your life. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about you getting your life right now. Because the bottom line is, whatever has bit you in your behind and have taken over your mind and made you believe that racism doesn't exist, or the fact that you know your great grandparents were slaves on a plantation that you were raised on, what is your problem? Like, I think sometimes it takes a situation, and I hate to say it in this manner, to wake him up. Like, it has to be where they remind him that that's the truth.
And sometimes they could be reminding him, but he think they good white people.
All
See
right.
that twisted. I mean, we see people now are so delusional. We sit there and watch them stand behind 45, and I be like, you still standing behind them? Even
Man.
during the election process.
That was me last night. I was
and
taking
then
tickets
you-
at the football game, and they were walking in with their little Make America Great Again hats and stuff, and I'm just like,
well, and
just as a
it's-
human being, like, these are the same people that'll get up and go to church and be Bible toting. These are the same people who will sit up and talk about race and good family and having good morals and doing all this kind of stuff. And you stand behind somebody who clearly doesn't have any of that.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I saw a clip on Facebook of a white preacher standing before his congregation talking about the Nike supporting Colin Kaepernick and how he want to kill him.
All right, let's move on. To be or not to be. Is it okay to shack up before you marry?
I think,
I need you. Do
I
you
say
think
yes.
it's really?
Yes.
Why? Wait a minute, why? What are the benefits?
One of the main benefits, you know what you're getting.
What do you mean?
If you shacking up, y'all kind of learn each other.
You can't do that without living with them?
You can, but I'm saying, you said, do you?
I know, but I'm
What
asking you a question.
I
The benefit.
say, I think it's okay.
Okay.
No, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I think some women get the raw deal when they don't shack up first. And I'm gonna tell you this. I told my grandma, oh my Lord, please forgive me. I say stuff to my grandma that I probably should not say on air. But sometimes you need to know what you're getting before you get there, because you can't turn back. It ain't easy to get a divorce. Some things you need to know before you get there.
Okay. Well, I will admit this, right? For financial reasons, Doja and I lived together about a month before we were married, because I had come back home and I was in an apartment, and lease was up, and then I ended up moving in with my mom because I knew we would be getting married within like 2 or 3 months of that. So I was like, no need me try to sign another lease or whatever. And he had come back from the Carolinas and got a place or whatever, and I was always over there. So it was like me trying to leave every night to go, blah, 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 you know. So we did. And I remember his mom coming over, and she was looking around like, you know, she didn't say nothing. But, yeah, so it was about 2 months we were together in the same, yeah.
So.
I know. But we were engaged, and this is before we got married.
No, but I'm just saying, even for people, I think 2018 gives, I think it's the
But what is
empowerment for women.
Okay.
It's something for women to learn more, about whether this is the joker you want for the rest of your life,
Okay.
instead of getting the joker you get.
But what could be some of the risk of shacking out?
Well, and I'm gonna tell you, one of the risks that what old people say is getting the milk for free.
Yeah.
Why buy the cow when you
Yeah.
get the milk for
Because
free?
I think for
that
women-
means you won't get married.
Well, and that's all. And honestly, you know,
If you
guys, you
got
make the
married
guy.
to
No,
your
I'm just
side.
saying.
No, if you want to get married,
Yeah.
you gotta. That's some of the risks. You can
Right.
risk not getting married.
Exactly, because you know you get them a little complacent and they get comfortable. It's like, well,
Why-
what do
why
we
we
need?
need marriage? Why we need a
and
paper?
we'll convince you of that.
Why we need a paper?
I know so many girls that's been convinced that I'm like, what are you talking about? This dude go today or tomorrow, all his stuff is going wherever, but won't be to you.
and one thing I tell them, like my mama, baby, the mama's gonna show up and look, you think your name gonna be on the obit? They're gonna be like, we don't know her.
No.
He loved you, we didn't. And you got to remember that. And that's
Oh,
one of
God.
the things I say about a man that loves you. He's gonna make decisions
Yeah.
to make sure that you're in a good spot.
Right.
If something happens
Correct.
to you, to
Correct.
him.
I agree.
And that's some of the things that I have to say to women. If a man is not willing to do this legally to put you in a good spot,
Right.
then guess what? I don't think he loves you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risk.
That's a risk.
Well, and then the other part is everything is risky, because even
I
the
get
marriage
it, but
is
it's
risky.
right, and that's true. That's true.
In most cultures, you don't get to date at all.
Right.
You meet your partner that night.
Yeah.
And they last forever because you don't have nothing to compare it to.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's the thing about when you get to compare it, you be like, So I'm with you because I love you. It ain't because you the best of the best.
But I just think even when you're talking about trying something out, I mean, and as a Christian, not condoning the idea of shacking up with somebody. If you're going to get engaged to them and get married and you guys going to do this the right way without fornicating or whatever, 100%. But on the other hand, I also know that there are people like my aunt and my uncle had that common law marriage. They were together literally.
So
my
long,
cousin
and
was like
they getting rid of it
46
at.
years old. So 46 years they were together, and then they got married after
Yeah,
46
I
years
know
of being
people
together.
like that.
And then she ended up passing away like 3 years later.
Well, and then the thing is, they was together. I mean, in common law, it's starting to be where that law is being taken off the books. So if the case, then women, y'all are really in trouble. And men too. Because, I mean, we want to say being single and not being married, you know,
Right.
some people, but there's benefits to being married. And one
A
of
lot
it
of
is the
them.
way the law sees you as that person's partner.
Right.
And what, as the wife, you get to make decisions on
Correct.
behalf of your family.
Right, yeah.
As the husband, you get to make decisions on the behalf of your family.
Correct.
Legal
Right.
decisions. But as
'Cause I'm telling you, they
as
will-
a boo,
Right.
you can go sit your ass down
What?
somewhere.
Because they gonna make sure you know. They gonna make sure you know. They gonna make somebody. I don't care if it's the mama, the aunt, the brother, the cousin. It could be the sister-in-law.
Or the friend from down the street. Everybody gonna be like, who you be?
Right.
And they've been
yeah.
knowing you for 800
Yeah.
years.
800 years.
They'll-
You've been
they'll
around. You've been to
lose-
every family reunion.
Look, they'll
You've been
lose
to
your
every
name.
birthday
Who's
party.
her?
Yeah, you'd have been to every, yeah, they will. You said it right. You will. All
But,
right.
hey, I mean, my thing is do what works for you, but don't be stupid. For the girls, don't be. You hear people now more
No,
days
yeah.
like Oprah don't want to be married. I mean, it's people.
Oprah been shacking for years.
Yeah,
though.
but that's what I'm saying. But she does not want to do the marriage thing.
And you know
that's-
what? Wouldn't that be weird though to find out like something Oprah passes away, and we find out she had been married to Stedman all these
It
years.
wouldn't be weird because they've been together.
Okay.
It's just keeping us out their business. Ain't none of our business.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. and
All
I
right.
mean,
So to tell the truth, would you leave your spouse or boyfriend if they had suffered an injury where he could not take care of himself?
I would not.
What if it lasted for like 20 years?
I would not.
What if it lasted for like 40 years?
I would not.
Would you then be in a throuple?
No. I mean, because and I'm gonna say this because
And the reason why I say that.
I say this to
Wait,
people all the time.
wait.
It's more than one ways to have physical intimacy.
Oh no.
So you-
Okay. Yeah.
so
But I'm just saying,
depending on
like,
what you're doing.
just everything. I'm not
And then
necessarily
I'm
just
later
talking
in
about.
my life. I ain't trying, girl.
I ain't not.
Companionship is one.
I get it. I'm not just trying to talk about having sex. I'm just saying,
No,
like, it
but
could
I'm
be
saying that
anything.
could
Like,
be an issue for
you know,
people.
go on a vacation, doing this, doing that, and you always got to push them around somewhere, do
But
whatever.
some people in some of these relationships anyway, and they man ain't got no problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in these type of dead relationships where he ain't suffered no injury.
And he still ain't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, this is the reason I say, because we get caught up in this this thing about love, that if you love somebody,
Unconditional.
you love them.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, because I'm gonna say this: if something happened to my child, I'm gonna take care of my child.
Right. No, I get you.
No, and I'm saying, and
Yeah.
that's the type of love you should have for your spouse.
Exactly. And that's the thing, though. Like, I think that society, social media, all these other things have put such a void there where people are not understanding what unconditional love is. Everything has to come with a condition. As long as you're doing this, as long as this happens, as long as that whatever. When really that bond, like you said, should be something that's unconditional.
Unconditional.
Okay. All right. So we wanted to kind of talk about health and wellness really quickly, because we feel like as African American women,
Yes.
that's something that even with our friends, like we have friends that are maybe overweight, or those who may be underweight, or those who may be mentally going through things. So not just physical health, but also mental health. And so over the episodes, we've kind of touched on it here and there, and I thought we might just put a segment in. And we just wanted to like start the segment because of the state of our health, both physically and mentally in America today. Like, we have some of the worst percentages for diabetes and
High blood pressure,
hypertension,
obesity,
and just whatever, you know.
And I was going to add to that is that, and it's in our culture, to be unhealthy is considered a prize. And we need to stop that. That's not, if you're in a size 22, that's not a prize. And it's not saying that you should be sad that you're a size 22. Nobody's saying go away and bury your head. We're saying that we have to say as a culture that this is not acceptable. And I'm gonna tell you prime example what happened to me. I didn't want to say this, but I'm gonna have to now. I'm diabetic, you know, and I said, oh, I had insulin, so they pretty much know diabetic. But we went to a sorority event, and they had this food laid out, and one of my sorority sisters was like, you can't eat that, you can't eat that, and I was like, well, what the hell can I eat? Show me something I can eat. And then she looked, she was like, there's nothing here. That's where I am. I go to stuff and you don't have anything that's healthy for me and for you.
Yeah, no,
while you talking for all of us.
Right.
We got the fried stuff, the rice and the potatoes. There was nothing green. And I was like, so you got to present the option of, we've got to start doing it for all of ourselves, not just because of my chronic illness, but someone else. And I was like, the option is not there. We do it at churches. We do it at family functions. Always for me, I get there and I realize that everything is hot, carbs. And it's not sugar, it's carbs. Yeah. You got the potatoes, the rice, the pastas, the breads, the fried foods, nothing baked, nothing green. And it's like, and I'm hungry. Right. And when you're hungry, you like this.
I'm eating whatever we got. Right. Yeah. And then I'm like over here trying to balance my sugar out later.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think it's a cultural thing that we do. And I said this to you earlier, that it's happened to us because 400 years ago, we had to eat what they gave us, and we're in survival mode. We're not in survival mode anymore, African Americans.
But you know what? And I will agree with that. But I want to add too is that, I mean, we were a lot healthier back then when the farms and they grew on their own vegetables, and even with pigs and everything else. I mean, because I've had uncles that live, eating pork all their life, But the other thing is that we get into this fast food. We get into this right now. We get into everything. You ain't got not one fresh nothing in your house. Everything in a can, everything coming out of a bag, everything coming out of a box from somewhere with all this sodium and all this stuff in there. And it's like, what's wrong?
I'm going to tell you what it is. It's called a food desert. And one of my cousins, who's a lawyer, he wrote a paper and he put it on Facebook. It's a food desert where in African American communities, there is no place to get fresh produce. And the other part is about being poor. The fresh produce costs more money than a soda. I can get $1 and buy a 2-liter soda with $1, and I can't get an apple. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and the 2-liter soda gonna last longer than that one apple. Right. So it's like being poor is one problem, and being poor is one, and the other one is not making it available, and and some of what they're doing in school is teaching you how to grow your own fruits and vegetables. And kids, the other part is even when they see fruits and vegetables, they don't even know how to eat them or how to cook them. That's how bad we're getting out of touch with fresh foods. They don't even know how to eat this. They're like, what's an asparagus? Yeah. How do you eat it?
I know my church participates in a community garden. I think I am going to see how, because I mean, I don't have a super green thumb, but I would love to plant some collards and some cabbages and different things that I know we could probably grow.
Much, but
I,
but I ain't
really,
gonna
I
knock your
love it.
hustle.
Like, I just
No,
want to
no,
do that, because
I
then I
know.
want to be able to pull it up and then maybe prepare some meals and then, after church and invite people to come and try them out on healthier ways, not cooking the greens down to where it has no nutritional value.
Oh,
'Cause
there
we
go,
do
my
that.
sister.
So it's just like those different things to kind of show you, because, I mean, there is a collard green slaw that is amazing.
Excuse me, I was about to say that. My
Yeah.
mom had your collard green slaw,
She
and
did.
she said it was so good. She was like, "What was that?" And I told her I didn't even get any. It was at DJ's
Yeah.
graduation, but she was like, "That was good." And that's the thing. Like I eat kale now. One of the ladies that I work with, she brought me a big bag of kale. I didn't know what it was, but I cooked it down like she was like, cook it like a cabbage. It's a leafy vegetable. I love it, and I love it raw. I
Yeah.
love it cooked. But those are the things that we need to get kids. They won't try stuff.
Right.
And McDonald's and all these
Right.
places, that stuff ain't even food.
Right. And I'll be honest, like, I love to cook when
And we love to
DJ and
eat.
Clifford, were younger, and he would say that, like, compared to some of his friends he's in college with now, he's like, my mom cooked every day for us, and it was a treat for us to go and eat out. Like, we don't like to eat out. Doing basketball season and stuff, it was a little harder.
Yeah.
But I tried to cook every day, or especially 3 or 4 days a week, and they kept vegetables, and I would cook different stuff, and they enjoyed it,
Well, and my kids are funny about vegetables, so I had to find a way to sneak them in on them. But I did cook. But one of the things is, it got to the point where they pushed back on me, and it's really hard, because it's like you want to be like, I want you to eat this and try it, and they're like, and
Right.
when you have a funny eating kid,
Okay.
and that's where we were, funny.
All
eating
right, so
kids,
we're going
but-
to talk about Hey Black Child. And I had watched this interview with Harry Belafonte, and he was speaking on the Kaepernick thing and how what was done by the owners and the coaches in their negative response to Kaepernick. And I loved what he said. He says, when a black voice is raised in protest to oppression, those who are comfortable with our oppression are the first to criticize us for daring to speak out against it. Those with the attitude of how dare you is a statement about America. And the machinery of oppression is always at work, and it takes a lot of courage to not bend to the wind. And I just like how he talked about that, because when I thought about him taking a knee, most of the people who, criticized it immediately, he was like, those are the people who are not comfortable with the fact that we're now raising a protest against oppression. They comfortable with
well,
it. They don't mind. They were
comfortable, yeah.
right. They're comfortable with
They're
the oppression.
comfortable with unarmed men getting killed, and it's okay because they black. They did something wrong,
Yeah.
and I've heard people who, with good intentions, will say, "But he had to do something wrong. There's no way you just
Right.
no reason." Yeah, there's a way.
Yeah.
That's what we're telling you. That's
Yeah.
what they're doing. They killed
There
us
is
for
a
no
way.
reason.
There's a way.
Well, and let's go on to finance. One of the things I want to talk about is how much do you give to charities, nonprofits, tithing? Because, oh, girl, you want to hear some folks cuss. Tell them they need to tithe 10% of their earnings. I have seen it happen. Do we spend our money in our best interest, or do we support companies that do not have our best interests at heart? For example, Nike. Nike is taking a stand with the fact that unarmed men are being killed by law enforcement. So I personally want to spend my money with Nike. And so I don't mind spending my money with Nike. But there are some companies who, like Papa John, CEO, out here saying the N word and, supporting the president on all this stuff. I don't want to buy Papa John's pizza. You ain't getting none of my money to
Not a
stand up
dime,
there and
bruh.
talk about my brothers. For what? No, you better do it with somebody else's money.
Right.
So I think that we've got to get to the point where we make our monies speak for us.
Correct.
And we got the buying power. And we found out that black women got the buying power.
Buying power.
And with that, I'm not speaking with
Political power, voice. Got a political voice and buying power, baby. We are forced to be reckoned with. Don't do it.
Strong.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Go ahead,
All
girl.
right, so let's talk a little bit about education. Do you know the people your children call their friends? Are they different when they're with school friends and home friends and neighborhood friends? And what characteristics do your child exhibit at home or with their peers? And the reason why I'm asking you that is because we've become a culture where we have to work, and sometimes late hours, and there are some, in most cases, single parents,
2,
and
3 jobs. Go
right,
on, add
okay,
that, girl.
and so the people that your kids spend most of their time with are those that are their peers. And so if you are not there to influence them with things, and not that you're not, you got to work, and you do what you can, and you talk to them, you take them out. I'm not at all talking about your parenting. I'm talking about those friends that are either going to be supportive of your parenting or they're not. Okay, they're either going to be right there with you when you are parenting, and they don't have a problem with the stuff that you're saying, because that's the same thing they're getting at home. Or it's these same kids who, soon as you say something, be like, if that was my mama, blah, So you just have to know, because when your kid get in trouble, or something happens bad to them, or they get in danger, who are these people they hanging around? Are they hanging around people who, that's what they do? So I'm just asking you to just start looking at your kids' friends just a little bit closer. Because you know how back in the day, they'd be like, who is that? That's Jimmy. Jimmy, what's his last name? Who is people?
Who is people?
Yeah,
girl?
baby.
My folks would say, who your
Yes,
people?
baby. And then you can't go down there and hang out with Jimmy, because we know his people.
and
I
that's
know
a
it's,
no.
yeah. Right. But nowadays, it'll something happen, and then it'll come out, and you'll be like, well, no, my kid is a good kid, blah, blah, blah. He was just with this person. Well, but they been hanging
They'd
out.
be like, I didn't know he was hanging with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, they knew, and not only that, but the neighborhood knew. They
Right.
would call and say, do you know your child hanging with Jimmy?
Right.
But
And nowadays, because of social media, because of a lot of things, I know we look at pedophiles, and we look at people who are drawing our kids in by all these other things. You need to be worrying about the ones that they sit in them classrooms with, that they hang out with at home, that they hang out with at church. What influence are they having on them? And just kind of ask. Like, you could ask questions about their friend,
it's your duty.
Yeah.
Look, we need to stop acting like that ain't our job.
Right.
As a parent, your job is to know who is influencing your child, because the main person who should be influencing your child is you.
Yeah.
It's you.
And so the bottom line is, on top of that, your kids should also be active in something. They have an interest. They don't necessarily have to be running up and down a basketball court or football or tennis or whatever, but they got chess teams. We have over 100 and something different clubs at the school that I teach at, and most schools do. If they get involved in something, they feel connected, and that connection gives them a pride, not only for their school but for themselves, and they tend to do better academically. You give me a kid who's not doing good academically, I will about promise you that they are not involved in nothing.
And
okay?
I can tell you that I got one of them at home.
All right, so ain't nobody got time for that. It was a 60-year-old woman. Okay, she was 68 romance novelist. Okay, her name is Nancy Crampton Brophy, and she was arrested for allegedly gunning down her husband in an Oregon Culinary Institute in Portland in June. And I caught wind of this because she used to do this blog called See Jane Publish, and her whole thing was she gave these 5 core motives on how to murder your husband. And she went down this whole list. She advised against hiring a hitman to do the dirty job. An amazing number of the hitmen ran, with the police. She advised them against hiring a lover. Never a good idea. But literally, she's like, and don't try to poison him a little bit, because, who wants to hang out with a sick husband? Like, she was crazy. And her mom was trying to defend her, because she's like, no, those books that she read. But she literally gunned her husband down. Nancy, ain't nobody got time for that.
You don't want your husband. That's why they got divorce. Right? We talk
Absolutely.
about it, but divorce is actually. So another, we ain't got time for that, is the Dine and Dash dater. So he meet these
I ain't messing
women
with you.
He meet these women online. He invite them out on a date. He tell them that, and one lady, he tells them that we're gonna go out to eat, and they thinking, okay, I'm getting dressed. And remember, I did the dating thing,
right.
And so one woman says, well, he's facing 10 counts of extortion, fraud, and petty theft against at least 10 women. And I'm gonna go out and say it's probably 100. Because 10 came out, but 100 might be embarrassed.
Right.
Okay, so she said he told her that they were supposed to meet at Chipotle, but he changed it to Houston's. Houston's is
Baby, I love me some Houston's. I know Houston's. I've been there. I've been there with some I won't name the celebrities, but I've been there with some folks. Yes,
yeah,
baby.
Houston is expensive. So from Chipotle to Houston, them 2 different things.
Oh, yeah.
And then told her to order whatever she wanted.
Whatever.
And get dessert.
Well, wasn't nothing wrong with that?
And get dessert.
Wasn't nothing wrong with
and
that?
Then he took a phone call.
Wasn't nothing wrong with him taking no phone call?
In which he never returned. And this lady said she
Maybe she was a bad date.
She said she had to use her rent money
Aww.
to pay for the date.
So she didn't know this dude was a loser from the beginning?
No, I mean, a lot of them don't.
Oh.
Hell, I went on some dates with some losers, but I didn't pay, and I got a filet mignon out of that. Thank you, mister.
Oh,
It was
God, I
delicious.
cannot. All right, well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in once again to Keisha and Keisha. We're just going to change our format up a little bit and continue to grow because, our goal is to definitely put this in a position where it goes national. So we thank you for all our loyal listeners. And from Keisha to Keisha.
From the outhouse
to the penthouse, we out.